Hear me at the back? Yep. Okay, very good. Wait, just hold on. Okay, action shot here, Chris. This side. Sorry, got it? Okay, good. In case you missed my better side though, sorry. You still doing it one more time? Okay, good, thank you. All right. The students that you so lovingly are nurturing through your high schools, your elementary schools, colleges, eventually get to the work world. However, if they only figured out that they can leverage their social media and tech-savvy skills with the needs of the organization and understand the needs of the organization, they will be gold. Most senior leaders in corporations that I know, right, would love to have the ability of the younger generation though. The mistake that many of the younger generations have is they don't know how to connect with the senior leaders in the organization though. They know how to connect with their peers, and they know how to connect with the people their age, but just think about if we gave them that capability, all right? So, what I'm going to be talking about is this. I have two stories that I'd like to start out with. 3 weeks ago, somebody reached out to me on LinkedIn and said, "Hey, Stephen, I heard you talk to our EMBA class 2 years ago. I was wondering whether you do any personal coaching." So I said, okay, yeah, let's get on a call. So we're on a 15-minute call. A minute into her describing her situation, I said, okay, after your EMBA, you didn't get the promotion you wanted, right? She said, yes, Then she started going through the next 10 minutes of why she didn't get the promotion, though. Okay? Now I'll give you a flip story, though. A professor in University of Washington, I used to live in Seattle, asked me, he said, "Hey, Stephen, do you mind talking to one of my top students in my class? She's doing an internship downtown, but she seems to run into a problem. Can you help her out, though?" I said, okay, no problem. Let's call her Jenny to protect the innocent, though. So I'm talking to Jenny and says, Jenny, Professor Lim said that you wanted me to talk to you. Tell me what's happening in the organization. She said, I have no idea. I went to the organization, I interviewed everybody in my department, and at the end of it, my supervisor complained that I was being really obnoxious and rude. I said, what did you say? She said, I don't know, I didn't say anything. I said, I tell you what, why don't I pretend to be one of your coworkers and you tell me exactly what you said to them and I will give you some feedback. She says, okay. So here's what she said. She said, hi, my name is Jenny. I want you to tell me what I need to do in the next 2 to 3 years to become your CEO. I said, whoa. All right? This is the two flip sides of working in the work world. One, people, even with advanced degrees, are not confident. The other, overconfidence and rubbing people the wrong way. All right? So what I want to do today is share my slides here, okay? So what winning in the work world is, the mindset that you need, the behaviors and some of the behaviors that for new job entrants should absolutely have before they get into the work world, and then the skill that the students need to have as well. So my name is Stephen Krempl. I've used to work in 4 Fortune 500 companies, originally Motorola, Pepsi, Yum Brands, and Starbucks Corporation. I was the Chief Learning Officer for Starbucks, though. The only thing COVID did for me was I was able to collaborate with 2 other academics to write a couple of books. So in 2020, when we had a little bit more time, I did a game on with 2 other professors. And then last year, I actually launched my book, but I did another book with another professor called The Next Right Move, which is looking at the work world in the year 2030. Now, don't worry about 2030, we want to worry about today. I have 3 questions for you, and for those of you who are here, just shout out the answer is either yes or no. All right, so pay attention now. First question. Does the smartest person always get noticed or promoted in an organization? Yes or no? Holy moly. Okay, second question. Does the hardest working person always get noticed or promoted in an organization though? Shh, damn. Okay, third question. Does the most loyal person always get noticed or promoted in an organization? Yes or no though? No. Then what gets a person noticed or promoted in an organization though? At this point in time, I would ask you to talk to your neighbor, but we don't have enough time, so we won't do that. Anybody wants to shout out to me, what do you think is important so that somebody gets noticed or promoted in an organization? Just shout out.
Emotional intelligence.
Yes, emotional intelligence, definitely, right? Somebody else, one more. Competence? Yep, competence in their work. In fact, your competence in your area of expertise is your foundation though. However, just because you're confident doesn't mean you're going to get noticed or promoted either though. So what I'm going to be sharing with you, a couple of suggestions of what I'm teaching people in what I call mid-level or mid-career. Some of them are pretty high up. And here's why I'm doing it for students, because they all said, I wish I had this information when I was first starting out in my career. So let me just share another question. So one of the things we tell people is they have to communicate with impact and be visible. So why do we need to communicate with impact and be visible? Because if you're not visible, you are invisible. I'm coaching a couple of groups, both college and high school students. And you know, right, whether it's virtual or in the classroom, you can either hide or you can stand out. So I was doing a class for a bank, and they call them the 50 Young Bankers. So this is their first week in the organization. We're running a 9 to 5 class, so 9 o'clock they're there. At 10:30, at tea break, HR is in my ears going, so who's standing out? I'm going, what do you mean who's standing out? I've only been with them for 1.5 hours. I mean, who's standing out? They asked me the same question at lunch. They asked me the same question at tea break. And they asked me the same question at the end of the day. This is the third day at work, though. I already knew within the first hour who was going to stand out. There was a handful of them, 5 out of 50, though. Why am I telling you this? Because HR or any other leader are looking out to who's going to be a future leader from day one, though. It is not, oh, well, I'm new here, so I kind of cruise around for a little bit and then let me get my feet wet, right? No, if you want to stand out in an organization, in a corporation, or anywhere, you better be doing a few of the things that I'm going to be suggesting. All right? So, next. It used to be who you know was really important. I'm going, yeah, that doesn't really work now. Yeah, who you know is important. It is who knows you, though, right? Yeah, you can know a lot of people, but here is the difference. When your name comes up, do they know you, though? So let's use an example. Let's say we're in a corporation, and then I'm going up to my other peer, and then I'll say, hey, do you know Stephanie Lee? Yes, Stephanie, she's great. She's the new one, right? She's always participating. She's adding value in our meetings. That could be a first reaction. Second reaction could be this. Hey, do you know Stephanie Lee? Stephanie Lee. Isn't she the one that sits at the back of the meeting room and the conference room and doesn't say very much? That could be a second possibility. Or third could be, hey, do you know Stephanie Lee? And they go, Stephanie who? If they don't even know your name, you're toast. Okay? So, why am I telling you people that? Because if you intend, or any of your people intend to go in an organization and hide, it's not going to be very good though. Okay? Because management, as I said, is always searching for what we call hard to find talent though. And they're looking for people to fill their pipelines all the time. And the phrase that you need to remember is, if you're not visible, you are invisible. I had one of the companies, I won't mention to protect the innocent, when I was there in the first 6 months, it was succession planning meeting. So I thought I would bring and suggest one of my right-hand person to my boss to kind of say, she needs to be promoted. So I went up to my boss, Susan, and said, Jennifer really needs to be promoted. She's really the most technically competent person I've known throughout my career. She gets along with everybody on the team, and all her customers love her. And then my boss goes, yeah, but I don't think she's ready. I'm going, whoa, no. You don't understand, Susan. She's really competent. Everybody gets along with everybody on the team, and all her customers love her. Yeah, but she's too quiet in meetings, though. I'm going, too quiet in meetings. Let's consider her next round. Next round is 12 months away, though. What am I going to tell Jennifer, though? So here's the problem. Sometimes your bosses are fighting for you, but if you don't do your job to help them, you lose out, though. Okay? So why is this important? Because the point we tell the people entering the workforce, you have to take care of your boss's boss, though. Not only your boss, because your boss's boss is the one who signs off on the promotions, though. How many of you seen that one before, right? That picture. Very, very important. Now, some young people don't know that at all. So the difference between someone new and employees progressing and getting ahead is understanding the necessary mindset. So I'm going to share a couple of things here that I share with not only the executives that I train, but all the young students that are telling them. The first one is this. The second one is this. And the next one is this. First one, okay, here we go. There are only two numbers that they need to pay attention first, 95 and 5. 95% of the time, please be who you are. I can't change you. You can't really change yourself, so don't pretend. However, 5% of the time, when you are in the presence of people at least 2 levels above you, you need to switch to your 5% zone. And how you communicate in your 5% is very different than how you communicate in your 95. And here's what I get the reaction from most people. Well, Stephen, then that's not being very authentic. No, please be authentic, but you have to be authentic in your role, though. We all have different roles, whether in the organization or outside. I'll give you an example. If you, any of you here, went and met, or you currently now in your jobs, you act one particular way. You're the teacher, professor, you work in an organization, you have your persona, right? I guarantee you when you meet your old buddies from college and talk about relive the old days, you don't act the same way, though. For those of you who are married, when you go to your mother-in-law's house, I guarantee you don't act the same way as you do with your college buddies, though. And if you went to your place of worship, you act totally different, though. We all play different roles. The question is, what role is senior management expecting of you at your next level? All right? Next one. Jim Collins wrote the book Good to Great. And I won't go through the whole decision, but the question we ask the students is this. Do you want to be just a good worker or employee in an organization, or do you want to be a great one? And the great one, in order to do that, you have to decide that you want to be one. Because if you don't decide, it's just like going to a class. Yeah, C's okay. All right? Well, C is okay, you will cruise through the class, though. But if you really want to get an A, you may act differently. And that's why I tell students, everything you learn in school can be applied in the work world if you know exactly what they are. So the next one is this one, which is this. You have to understand the rules of the game. Now, in most organizations, Which is more important? Let me ask you this one, right? The written rules or the unwritten rules, though? Unwritten rules, though. But here's the thing. If you don't tell your people to find out the unwritten rules, they may inadvertently step on a landmine, though. So let me give you an example, though. We hired a new VP of HR when I was in Dallas, and in those days, it was Dress Down Friday, and so everybody wore polos and not jeans, khakis. Why? Because the president did not like jeans, though. But we forgot to tell the new guy, though. So we're down in the basement too. John walks in and says, "Hey, John, why are you wearing jeans today?" He says, "Dress Down Friday, right? His polo shirt and jeans." I said, "No, Pete doesn't like jeans, though." He says, "Well, nobody told me." "Yeah, don't worry about it." We go out basement 1. We go up to the first floor. The elevator door opens. Pete walks in, looks at John and says, "Doing gardening today?" He couldn't live that down for the next 6 months, though. Now you go, "Yeah, but that's silly, isn't it?" Not silly if you're making the rules, though, right? So here are the things that we have to tell people. You have to figure out the rules of the game, and you have to ask the question to find out the rules of the game. The next one is very simple. In fact, it's really important, and because my wife isn't here, so I'll use her as an example, though. So red lines and green X's. A red line is stuff that happens that is not so good, and green X's is stuff that is good, though. So for me, when we were living in Seattle, I used to live in Issaquah. We used to go to Bellevue for shopping at a mall, though. So my wife says, "Hey, drop me here at 12, pick me up at 3 o'clock, though." See, sometimes I come late, though. This is my wife. I know none of you have this issue, though. My wife will go, "Huh, you're late again. 3 months ago, you're late. Last Christmas, you're late. 2 years ago, when my mother-in-law came, you were late." She remembers every single time I was late. Unbelievable memory, though. It doesn't mean I never picked her up on time in between. She doesn't remember that, though. Conversely, in an organization, when your name comes up, Stephanie Lee, what do the senior leaders remember about you, though? "Wow, Stephanie, wasn't she the one that asked that great question in the town hall? Wasn't she the one that did that project for us? Wasn't she the one that solved the customer problem? Wasn't she the one, though?" Your job from day one is to create green X's. And a green X is defined as something memorable that when your name comes up, people remember you with a green X. Next, what are some of the behaviors that employees should have in order to progress through the organization, okay? These are the only 5 times that your senior leaders will see or hear you, though. The one-on-one meeting they have with you, the team meeting, either a small group functional meeting or the large town halls or all hands meetings, the conference call or the virtual call nowadays, the presentation you made, or the company social. They don't know if you came in at 7:30 in the morning, and they don't really care if you left at 7:30 that night, though. When your name comes up, Stephen, they'll go, how is he? Did I have a one-on-one with him? How is he at that team meeting? Did he say anything on the conference call? I saw his name on the name list, but he didn't say anything. How's his presentation? Or did he even take the guts to come up to our group and talk to us at the company social? Only 5 situations. So why is this important? Because we teach people the behaviors to interact appropriately in these 5 situations, though. In fact, the book Game On was written based on these 5 situations, all right? The next behavior is EMC squared. Well, we all know Einstein came up with EMC squared. Well, if Einstein has it, I have my own EMC squared, right, Eric? That is right. First E, same as Einstein, energy level. Most people do not even know how to regulate their energy level in the organization. In fact, those 50 students, they were still acting like they were in class though. They went, sat on the chair and plonked down and waited for information to be downloaded. I'm going, whoa, right? So energy level, there are 5 levels of energy though. 0, 25, 50, 75, 100 though. Most of the people in the organization have no clue how to regulate their energy level. Why? Because by just changing your energy level, people will remember you versus the person who came before you or the person who comes after you. M is message. Are you clear, concise, and to the point? And the higher you go up the organization, the less time they have, means you have to be really precise and concise. And communicates confidently, right? Most students that I deal with, they all go, yeah, we know this. We heard this before in our class. And then I ask them to actually do it, and then they go, I had a call last night with 5, they are now seniors. All of them are seniors going to the work world in May. And I asked the guy, he said, you watched the videos, tell me the 3 things that you got out of the videos that you watched between the 2 sessions. Though. He went on a 5-minute rampage on what he learned while I did this and then that. I go, whoa, okay, so can you cut that down by half? Though? Then he tried to cut it down by half, and then I said, okay, I asked you for 3 things. Can you cut it down by half? Though? And then I'm telling the other 4, now you better watch what Julian is saying because that's what I'm expecting of you, not on some long 5-minute rendition of what you thought you learned. You've just wasted my time if I was a senior leader in the organization. So it's not about talking, it's about talking at the appropriate level. With your friends, you can do that. Maybe not so with people higher up. There are a couple of words. One of the things we share in this slide, I'm not going to go through all the things, but we talk about your image of yourself, your intention, whether you want to win or contribute, or you want your approach, how you're going to do it. And then I ask people, what is the most important word on this slide? I'm going to ask you to look at this, and you make your own choice in 10 seconds, right? So which word is most important? Results, behavior, mindset, self-concept, win, contribute, cruise, or survive, proactive, different, add value, and preparation. And the most important word is preparation. Yes, add value is important. All of them are important. But here is the trick, though. Most senior leaders prepare like mad. They just don't tell you, though. So you go in and look at it. Wow, she's such a great orator. She's a natural. It's called naturally practiced. Okay? I had a senior leader who called me and said, Stephen, I'm doing a 10-minute presentation to my CEO in Santa Clara. Can you come down from Seattle and help me out on my 10-minute presentation? No problem. I flew down. He had 10 slides, though. The first slide was the title slide, so he had 9 slides. The last slide is thank you, so he really had 8 slides. So 4.5 hours later, we are done with his 10-minute presentation. Do you think he's going to go up in front of his CEO and say, well, I've just had, Mark, I've just had 4.5 hours of Stephen, and now I'm ready to present to you? No, he's going to go up, he's going to present, and everybody's going to go, wow, this guy has leadership potential. 4.5 hours of practice he did. Okay? So here's the other thing. So tell the young kids, don't be fooled by somebody who looks like they're really natural. Okay? The other thing we go through, and I'm not going to go through all this, but just a quick thing of some of the things we teach them that they need to know. Because so many of the meetings are virtual, they need to know what virtual presence is, though. And we go through 3 buckets, visual, the voice, and verbal messaging. And what I'm going to just show you just a couple of the slides from the visual. So what we tell them is this, look, your background is really important, though. Don't show me you're in the room, whatever. Do blur it out, whatever it is. Then we give them a couple of suggestions, what is better. More importantly is this, though. How do you look in your frame? This is a headshot. Many people on Zoom, the only thing you see is their head, though. The next one is a half shot. Okay? And this one is a far shot, you're too far behind. The most natural shot is the half shot. Why? Because when you watch TV, okay, well, this is what people get, right? You have classes, you get a whole bunch of squares. Look at all the people. You see some people's head, you see some people are half shot, you see some people are not looking at the screen because they're looking at a second screen. Okay, the background's all different. This makes a difference in an organization. I just took my camera and just went and took 2 pictures from the news channels, and guess what? Everybody, even in the field, is a half shot though. That's the most natural shot, looking straight into the camera. Okay? Next. Oh, sorry, this was me when I was interviewed in Las Vegas. If you see the little morning blend there, is a half shot though. Okay? So, next. The difference of some people excelling and progressing is demonstrating the skills in the 5% model, all right? So I'm going to show you here the 5% model that we teach the executives, which we also teach the students, is this. Number 1, connect personally. Number 2, articulate your points of view clearly. 3, communicate confidently. 4 is build trust. 5 is provide direct feedback. 6 is takes ownership, and 7 is coaches and recognizes them. So here's a very quick thing that you might want to think of one student or even yourself or somebody you may know, and just on a basing it on a 1 to 10. 1, not very good, and 10, excellent though. Connecting personally at all levels, not only at their level, right? Articulating their points of view clearly, how they communicate confidently, building trust with key stakeholders, not everybody in an organization, but the key people who are important though. Provide direct feedback positively. One of the things we teach here is how to say anything negatively a little bit more positively though. Because no senior leaders really want to hear problems though. They want to hear solutions, your suggestions, and recommendations though. All right? Third, okay, and right at the end is taking ownership proactively, which is this. Most of the people who succeed in their organizations are proactive in volunteering to do things that other people do not want to do, though. Okay? So, again, teaching the kids that, though. So I just want to share one thing with you because this is one of the ones that our younger generation seem to have a problem because they're always on their devices, is how do you connect to people? How do you talk to anybody about anything? If there's one single skill that they need to learn is this, though. And we teach it in the form of an acronym, okay? The acronym is FORM, F-O-R-M or N-O-R-M. And what we eventually tell them is this. You're not talking about the topic, you're asking questions to get the senior leader to talk about the topic they want to talk about, though. All right? And then you go like this, though, okay? So let's say my favorite topic was, you go through, when we say family, it's not really about just your family, but where you're from, where do you go to school, where do you grow up, that kind of stuff, right? Recreation is an interesting one. If they have a hobby, and here's what most students say, well, I really don't know anything about golf, so I can't talk about it. No. If you don't know anything about the topic, that's the best question to ask because you can go, Stephen, I really don't know anything about golf. When did you ever start that interest in golf? And now, if I really love golf, I'm going to be talking about golf. And all they have to say is this, wow. And I'm going to talk for 2 more minutes. And you go, really? 2 more minutes though. Amazing. 2 more minutes though. I never knew that. 2 more minutes though. You're unbelievable. 5 words or 5 sentences, you've got the person to talk for 10 minutes though. Sounds real easy until they practice for themselves. They go, oh, wow. Okay? But how many of you agree this is a critical skill that our younger people need to know if they want to interact with senior people though, right? Very important. Now, here is the flip side of this. The senior leader might turn to you and say, what are you interested in? You can't go, now you start to think about it, too late. So in an organization, we tell them you have to have the ING. some topic you know in depth, a new technology or new thought leadership or something that you're passionate about or some global issue, right? So not only do you know how to talk to people, in case they throw the question back to you, you're ready with something that makes you more visible and memorable though. So, kind of summarizing the philosophy here, right? They need to be able to know how to increase their visibility, raise their energy level, be slightly different, add value, and be proactive though. But we want them to do it on a basis of their attitude, their competence, and results. Do not do any of the green if you haven't got the black down though. So we're not suggesting that you just talk for talk's sake and communicate just to say. You have to have your basis down, and once you get it, the way that you get remembered and more visible in the organization is by doing the rest of the stuff though. So to win in the work world, you need the right mindset, the right behaviors, and the right skills. And what I'm going to help you guys with, if you have any of your students who need any of this stuff, we have an app called the W3 app, Winning in the Work World app. And if you're interested, we give a number of things that are free, including the book, The 5% Zone, so you can download the book if you want, if nothing else. And you can use both either iOS or an Android QR code here if you want it, or otherwise just download it from your app store, right? So I'll leave this up for 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1, or you can go to the winningintheworkworld.com, our webpage that shares some of the things we do as well. I have 2 minutes left for Q&A or any other topic or question you want to have to ask me though. Yes.
Hi, thank you. I appreciate that feedback. I am at the executive level in our organization as executive director, and I will give you just a simple example of the way of approaching things. I had a new member to our team with a lot of first responder experience and stuff, a lot of valuable experience, and he came to me and he said to me, he'd only been to work for us with maybe a week, and he said, "Your first aid kits are crap."
Yeah.
Instead of saying, hey, I have this knowledge and skills that I would love to share with you. I could bring value to your program with the knowledge I have, right? But still to this day, he's been with us 6 months now. That's the first thing I remember about him is his approach.
And he probably thought he was being very authentic. Yes. I'm going to tell it like it is.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Exactly.
Okay? No.
And I just raised my eyes and looked at him like,
thank you very much.
Yeah. So thank you.
Now, I'm sure all of you are saints and you got halos on your heads and you never made any of these mistakes before, but for those of us who would like to just wave their hands, maybe here, how many of you stepped on a wrong landmine or said something you shouldn't have said in a meeting or in sometime in your career, right? Just wave slightly, yeah, we all have, right? Because it's the intention. And one of the biggest things that we do is doing this positively negative section in this thing, which is that how do you turn anything feedback that you want to give negatively a little bit more neutrally or more positively. Okay, it becomes an art, and it's actually vocabulary because most people only know this, right? I see a problem, the problem's coming straight out of my mouth though. And that's what happened in your case. And worse, they had no other words other than describing it as crap. Any other questions though? Dun, 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 dun. 10 seconds, 9, 15, 16, oh, now it's going up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I hope that you continue to do what you do because everything you're doing is leading your precious cargo to the day they're going to be in the organization. However, when they're in the organization, they need to learn a couple of these skills that I just talked about to make themselves successful in their career. Thank you very much.